Welcome to Motivation Addict, everyone. Today, I am interviewing myself. I am going to give you some information about what I do. My name is Julie SAILLANT. I am an equine communicator, an intuitive mindset coach, and empathic healer. And I work with equestrians and horses and entrepreneurs, but mostly equestrians to help them remove fear, create boundaries for success, and balance any areas of your life. So my goal is to help you release your fears and really be in that mind-body spiritual alignment. Again, my name is Julie SAILLANT, and I hope that you love the show. And please don't forget to subscribe, rate it, and comment. Look forward to hearing your thoughts on this one. Enjoy. Welcome to Motivation Addict on Society Bites Radio. My name is Julie SAILLANT, and I am your guest today. I am going to give you some information on myself and what I do so that all the equestrians out there will understand their horses a little bit better by the end of our 25 minutes or so together. What I do is I'm an equine communicator, and I'm an intuitive mindset coach and an empathic healer. And I know that sounds like a lot of words, but simply what I do is I'm the bridge between horses or other animals and the human. And this started out when I was about 14, 15 years old. I was at a barn, and there were a lot of boarders there. And I had my own horse there. I was in high school, and there was a man there that had a horse. He had a beautiful mare, and he treated her terribly. He basically would come and ride her very roughly, and then he would just throw her in her stall, and she'd be all wet, take her gear off and leave. He never really did anything for her except ride her and hit her. And one night, he had taken her through barbed wire, and her legs were bleeding. And he left her in her stall, like he always did, wet and bleeding, and took off. And I heard her call to me, and I was kind of around the corner from her, and I heard her say, "Help." And I kind of looked around, and I wasn't sure if I'd made it up in my mind. And she said, "Help" again. And I went over to her stall, and she said, "I need help." So it's hard to think about because it still upsets me. But anyway, I did get her help, and it was the first time I realized that she could actually speak to me. So that was kind of the beginning. I actually can speak to dogs. I can speak to cats. A lot of animals love me. I love them more because I think that animals are so simplistic to talk to. When you speak to a horse, for example, there is no filter. So they all have their own personalities, just like people do. Some speak in a higher voice, some speak in a lower voice, and almost all of them have a sense of humor. So just the other day, for example, I'll be walking down the aisle, and all the horses will usually say hi to me, and I say hi to them, and they all look different and have their own personalities. And one of the mares said to me, "Hey, what's going on over there?" And I said, "Hey, April, how are you?" And this is all like mind to mind. I'm not actually saying the words. So if you were watching me, you're not going to see anything but me walking over to her. And she said, "I just wanted to say, what's going on? I hope you're having a good day." And I said, "How are you doing?" And she said, "I'm doing good. I'm keeping the guy next to me. I'm the boss, and I'm the one that, takes control of everything. And I kind of run things around here." And I said, "Yeah, I noticed that." And she said, "Yeah, I just wanted to say hi." I said, "Okay, well, thanks for saying hi." That's just a normal example of what I understand and hear every day. I will get more detailed information. I have heard things like, "You need to tell my human that I can't jump anymore because I'm old and my feet hurt." And then the only time it gets tricky is when the human has not asked for my help. So I'll have a horse, I'll be walking down the aisle, I have a horse that says, "Hey, I need some help." And I said, "Oh my gosh, what am I going to do?" So I have to tell the human, but the human has not asked me for help. They think everything's fine. This is usually always the case when there is some sort of abuse involved, because the human doesn't either know that they're being abusive or they don't care that they're being abusive. So it's either one or the other. Most people care for their horses, but in these two groups, it can be a little dicey. But because I'm the bridge and because I want to do what's best for the animal, I will always go tell the human. And I've said to people, I know that you didn't ask me, but I am a communicator. And your horse mentioned that he's having some issues jumping. Have you noticed that he might be a little bit sore? And they usually say, yeah, I have noticed that. How did you know that? And I'll usually say, well, he told me so. And it's getting rough. I don't know what your plan is, but would you consider maybe doing something else? Or are there other opportunities to do something different with him? And then sometimes they'll say, no, this is what I'm doing. And they completely ignore me. And the rest of the time they'll say, yeah, maybe I'll try something else with him, because obviously as humans, horses age a long time and they can do lots of different things. So that's a little bit about how I started learning and listening to horses and understanding them. I help a lot of my clients with fear, something that I've been exposed to a lot. I have fallen off my horse. I've broken 6 ribs. It wasn't his fault. It just happened. Everybody knows that's an equestrian. Things just happen randomly. But what I do is I help my clients understand what their horse is saying, but also I help them change their mindset, because a lot of times what happens is you're bringing the storm with you to your horse. And what I mean by that is when you're going to talk to your horse and see your horse for the first time, no matter what time it is, after work or first thing in the morning, when you're going to meet your horse and walking up to their stall, whatever you have in your field, whatever happened to you during the day, if you had a fight with your boss, if you had a fight with your kids, if you had somebody cut you off in traffic, any negative thinking that you're bringing to the table comes with you. And your horse is a mirror of you. They react to whatever is in your electromagnetic field, and they respond accordingly. So they'll either do 2 things if you're being negative, if you're angry, if you have a lot going on and there's a lot swirling around you, which you may not even realize you have, that you're carrying with you. They will either walk away because they don't want to deal with it, or they'll try to help you and give you calming signals, which is usually a very deep breath. When they breathe deeply, most humans breathe deeply back, which immediately will bring down your system and make you calm down physically. There's no choice in the matter. That's what you have to do. So what I try and do is help most equestrians either get rid of their fear or change their mindset so that they can approach the horse in a very calm, open, engaging way. And the way to do that is, before you even get to the barn, is if you can pick a spot on the way. It can be a CVS or it can be a certain tree, wherever it is. When you're halfway to the barn, you can pick a spot and start thinking in a very positive mindset of, this is what I'd like to accomplish today. This is what I want to achieve. I want to really bond with my horse. I want to have a good vibration. And I'm excited in a happy, relaxed way, not a nervous way, a happy, relaxed way. I'm excited to see what we're going to get to do today. It's going to be fun. It's going to be awesome. And then by the time you get there and you close the door to your car, because your horse can hear your car, they know your car, they can hear up to 3 miles away. They know you're in the barn or near the barn. They can hear your voice. When you walk up to their stall door, before you have even spoken to them, they can get your electromagnetic vibration of happiness and calmness. And it will be an amazingly different outcome for you a lot of the times than coming to them with the storm that often builds up from the day's frustrations. So that's just a small slice of what I help people with. But changing their mindset, eliminating or losing fear is a big one as well, especially for women or riders of over 35. And then the other thing I do is help them with a balance, like a mind, body, work-life balance, because as equestrians, everyone knows how much time it takes to have a horse. I'm there every single day, rain or shine. I may not ride every day, but I'm there every day. So it's important that you give them the time that you would give to your family and to work. When you're quick and in and out of there, they know. And that's usually, in my experience anyway, personally, when things go awry, because you'll think, I only have 20 minutes. I just want to get on. I want to do a few things, and then I got to go. I've got a meeting after this, or I've got to go pick up the kids from school, whatever the case may be. And that's usually when things happen. Accidents happen because you're quick and you're forcing things to move faster than normally they would. As most equestrians know, horses are on their own timeline. You can't rush them. So you may be having a great day, but if your horse is not, and they maybe are not focused, and it takes extra time to focus them and bring them, to calm down and to really think about the lesson that you're offering them today, then that's extra time that if you haven't accounted for, you're not going to get all that you need out of them, and you won't be as happy as you normally would be. So I try to create positive boundaries for my clients so that when they come to the barn, they have that happy feeling and their vibration is amazing and welcoming, but they also have the time to work with their animals. Because as we know, I always make a joke about it, but you need to give them the time that they need to have whatever you want to have happen show up for you both. And sometimes it's you and sometimes it's them. So I do work with all types of horses. I work with Friesians, I work with stallions, I work with almost all of them talk to me. It's very rare that some of them won't. I have had a Friesian in a show barn, a big fancy show barn, actually turn his back to me and showed me his butt and said, "I'm not interested in talking to you at all today. So goodbye." I mean, I've heard that. They have their own little minds, but they are generally, what I want all the listeners to know is they're very forgiving animals. They can go through a heck of a lot of trauma, and they will always forgive if you are willing to come to them with an open heart and an open mind and in that happy place. And you can create a sacred space for your horse by just being in that frame of mind. As I said, when you're driving there and you see a landmark that you create, and then you can just start thinking about all the positive aspects of being with a horse, which is so amazing. And not very many people in this world get to do what we do on an average day, which is being with an amazingly gorgeous animal and having them help us emotionally and support us in so many ways. So it is an amazing job. It can be fun. It can be hard for me because I am the bridge, but I always want to help the horse. So I'll always bring the message to the client, even if the client is not a client and hasn't asked for any messages, because they don't usually talk to me about things that are trivial. I use the example of the horse the other day, just saying, "Hey, how's it going?" But that's not typical. Most of the time, I will ask them, "What's bothering you? How can I help you? Is there something in your environment that we should change?" Because as many of you know, one small change in their environment can upset them greatly. If they have a new stablemate, if they move to a different stall, if they have someone that's working around them that upsets them tremendously, as I had in one of my last 2 barns ago. He used to have a man that wore spurs, and he would do the cleaning around the barn. And it just so happened that my horse was abused with someone who wore spurs. And so if you walk near my horse with spurs on, he gets into a very excitable, negative state. It's not something that it doesn't work for him well. So when I found out and he told me this was happening, I had to just ask, either I said, "I'll clean around, his stall for him, or you have to take off the spurs, because it's too much of it's upsetting him too much." They have memories that are super strong. They can also recognize your facial features, and they also know when you are not coherent, which means that